Hello, hello. Ah, there's just something so satisfying about mixing colors and so soothing to watch. Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode of Hearty Tips with Silka. I'm Silka Hendel, founder of Heart for Art. Hi. um, and Heart for Art and Paint Club, my online painting community. I teach people how to paint in a way that's easy and fun. And today I'm just going to show you how to mix a few colors on your palette. All right, using the main basic colors, we are going to create some lovely colors today. And if you're new to painting and you're still learning, it can be a little bit confusing. To know how to mix your colors. And I admit, I even sometimes have a color in my head and I start mixing and it does not come out the way I want. And sometimes I end up with mud color. So I'm going to show you today the basics of color mixing with your primary colors. Just to get, just to show you how your main colors to help you get some of the basic colors that you want. All right. Now, I'm conscious of the fact that I want to hold my palette up so that you can see it, but my paint is running off the palette at the same time. So I'm just having a little bit of fun pre-mixing these ones just to show you. But I will talk you through the rest of them as we go. All right. So let me just clean that brush. Now, before we dive in, if you're still at the stage where you don't have your art supplies yet, you're still thinking about learning to paint and you still need to get some art supplies and you're not sure what colors or even what brushes to get, I've got a free supply list, a shopping list and supply list of basic must-have art supplies. It's just for you. And it includes, loads of tips on where to shop as well and how to find best prices as well. It's going to make buying your art supplies and getting set up with the right materials just super quick and easy. So just type supplies in the comments and I will share a link with you as soon as we're done with our color mixing here. All right. Now, when you're trying to mix colors, you can just sort of experiment as you go. Let me just show you my palette so that hopefully my paint doesn't slide off the palette too much. And now I'm just conscious there is a reflection of the light as well. Bear with me. But now you can just, experiment with your colors and have a go and see what you get, see what happens. But if you don't have the basic sort of understanding of how the colors work together with each other, how they relate to each other, you might just end up wasting your time. So today I'm going to show you how to mix the main colors. We have our three primary colors here, yellow, red, and blue. And I'm going to show you how to mix those so that you can get all of the main colors on your rainbow of colors. And also I'm going to show you how to mix some tints, or pastels as they're also known, and some shades of each color as well, and just tell you a little bit about the basics of the main colors on the color wheel. All right, just so you can get an understanding of how colors work. I'm just getting half my face. I don't want you to see the colors more than me, just so you can get an understanding of how colors work, which is going to help you with mixing your colors. All right, so I see a lot in the studio, people trying to mix colors, and they get a bit ahead of me and they try and mix colors on their own, even though they don't know what they're doing. I've had one lady who, she was trying to mix a peach color, but somehow she just ended up just adding more and more of the colors and not quite understanding what was working, and she just ended up with a nice mud color. So I want to help you avoid things like that. All right. Hello, Melissa. Hi, good to see you here. Oh, supplies. Now, Melissa, you're in Paint Club, so that supply list is in your success path. Go and have a look for it there, but I will send you the link to that as well afterwards. So yeah, say hi if you're coming on, and let us know where you're watching from. So let me just explain the basics of color first, and It is a little bit warm in here. I've had the heater on, so my colours are sliding a little bit down my palette, holding it up for you to see. So essentially your primary colours are your red, your yellow, and your blue. Okay, now these are colours that cannot be created by mixing any other colours. All right, these are the purest form of the colours. All right, and with these colours, with different combinations of these colours, you can pretty much create any other colour. Okay, that's how we mix all the other colours. Now your secondary colours are created by mixing the two colours together. So here we've got a nice purple in the middle. I could probably make that a little bit more purple, to be fair. And this is where you're mixing what's called a secondary color. So when you use the two primary colors and you mix a color that's in between those two colors, so we've got a lovely purple happening here, maybe a little bit more red. This is called a secondary color. All right, so it's basically you've got like a first rung of colors, and this is the second rung of colors where you mix two of those first colors together and you get a secondary color. We've got a lovely purple happening here. Okay, so that's a secondary color. So again, if you mix these two colors, you're going to get a secondary color of orange in the middle here, and yellow and blue, we're going to get a secondary color of green in the middle there. All right. So that's basically secondary colors is mixing two primary colors together. So then we also have tertiary colors, which are created when you mix a secondary color and a primary color together. All right. So mixing those two colors, you're going to get, like here we've got a red purple color. So that there is a tertiary color. All right. So that's tertiary, like tri. Think like 1, 2, 3. All right. So this is like the third rung of mixing away from the primary colors. Okay. So that's your tertiary color. And same here on the other side, we've got your blue purple, which is also a tertiary color. So you've got your primaries, your secondaries, and then your tertiary colors as well. I'm just going to straighten my palette a little bit, see if I can make the paint run the other way. So, you know, over here, for example, you mix your orange, and then when we do the tertiary color, you're going to get a red orange over there. So I've already done this one, this set here between the purple and the blue. So let me just clean my brush, and I'll do the next one. I'll show you the next one. Hi, Sabrina from Western Australia. I bet it's a bit warmer there, hey? We've got a bit of a blustery coldness happening and a bit of rain over here. Okay, so I'm going to do this set next. So when you're mixing your colors, it's really key to always start with the lightest color. So we've got a red and a yellow here, and the yellow is a whole lot lighter than the red. Now, that is because, now when you're mixing your colors, like I said, always start with your lightest color first, and that is because darker colors will always be a little bit more dominant than the lighter colors. So you can see here, I'm just going to use a little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to take the tiniest little bit of red. See, look at that tiny little bit of red that I've got there, and you'll see that it will change the color of that yellow already, even with that, like that was like 1/20th of or maybe even 1/50th of red compared to yellow. And that's because that red is so much more dominant, so you don't need as much. And that's why it's always important when you're mixing your colors to start with the lightest color and just add tiny little dips of the darker color, and you just keep by adding little dips at a time. So you can see I'm just putting a tiny little bit of my brush. You can control how your color mixes. Okay, if you use a massive dollop of red, because of that color dominance, you'd need 20 times more yellow to go back again. All right, so that's why you always start with the lightest color and then just add little dips of the darker color until you get the shade you want. Okay, so tiny little dips, and that way you can really control how much the color changes as you go. All right, so we just keep adding little dips of that second color, and then at some point you're going to get a nice shade that's roughly halfway between your yellow and your red. All right, so I'm pretty much there now. I've got a nice orange that feels like it's halfway between my yellow and your red. So that is now my secondary color of orange using those two primary colors. Okay. And then once you've got that, so we've sort of got a shade of orange that's kind of, maybe it's not halfway between. Maybe I'll put a little bit more yellow back in, make it a little bit lighter. But you see I needed much, much more yellow to do that, and that's why we just use those little dips at a time. And you can see I'm rolling and pulling my brush, and that just gets the paint off the brush. And now we can do, we can mix our secondary orange, all right, which is with the primary red and a little bit of orange. So again, we start with a lighter color, which is our orange. So I'm going to take some of that orange, and I'm just going to pop it up here and do that twirl and pull to get the paint off the brush. And again, tiny little dips of red, and we can just keep adding little dips of red until we get a color that's halfway between that red and the orange. Okay, so this is a nice red orange. A little bit more. Tiny little dips at a time so that we can control the level of change nice and easily. If you do too much, it's going to change it very, very quickly, and it might go too far. So that's kind of feeling like halfway between. So that is now my tertiary color. All right. So 1, pure colors, the hues. And then 2, using 2 colors, we mix that secondary color. And then here we've got 2 colors in this one. And then we add a little bit more of 1 to get our third tertiary color there. Okay. So I'm just going to clean my brush. And again, because the color dominance, the darker color on the brush is going to influence me wanting to do a lighter color over here. So I'm going to do my lighter color, my tertiary color here. I haven't left myself enough space, but so I'm going to start with the yellow, and then I'm going to add dips of orange. So this is how we get our tertiary yellow-orange, or orange-yellow, whichever way you want to call it. And this is the tertiary, the other tertiary color between these 2 colors. And again, we just want to go for a shade that sort of feels like it's halfway between. So we just keep adding little dips till we get that lovely yellow-orange. That's feeling quite nice now. Maybe a little bit more orange. Tiny little dips, because again, the orange is going to influence it quite quickly. And that's feeling like a lovely orange color in between there. So that's now, we've got our 2 tertiary colors here now between our primary colors and our secondary color here. So that's, you've already got, you've only used 2 colors there, and you've already got 3 different shades that you're enjoying there. So we just keep going. If you want to get another shade in between, you can keep going. I haven't left enough space here, but if you wanted to get another shade of orange in between, you can do a shade in between these 2 and I have to leave myself enough orange. You have another step of color there, and a little bit lighter there. And you can do as many steps as you want in between all of those shades. And essentially you can have the whole shade of yellow to red if you want to on that that stem, that between those 2 colors. So I'm going to do the same again. Just clean my brush with blue and yellow now. So again, starting with, I'm just going to flip my palette over just to get the paint to run in the other direction for a second. So we start again with green. We're mixing a green now. So we start with yellow, and blue again is really, really dominant. So you can see I've got quite a bit of yellow there, and the tiniest, can you even see that blue on my brush? There's a tiny little bit of blue on my brush. All right, so that much yellow, tiny bit of blue, and look how quickly that changes the color of the yellow. That just shows how dominant that darker color is over that yellow. All right, so that's why it's so important. Always start with the lighter color and then just add little dips of the darker color. That's 2 tiny dips of blue, and look how much it's already changed the color of the yellow. So that's why it's so important to just do little dips, tiny dips of that darker color, because it's much easier to control how much the color changes when you do it that way. So we just keep adding little dips, and again we're going for a color that's sort of roughly halfway in between our yellow and our blue. So I'm feeling like I've pretty much got it now. So I've got a lovely green happening here. And again, you can see that a lot of the paint is sitting on the belly of the brush, that is the sides of the brush. So you just do what I call a twirl and pull. You twirl your brush and pull at the same time, and that gets most of the paint off and back on your palette. And then you can mix that back in. So I've got a delicious green here now. Not quite avocado green, but almost. I like avocados. So that's the green there. And then we do the same. If we want to go, we mix it, we take a bit of that color, we put it there. But again, we want to start with the lightest color. But because I've got that dark green on my brush, I can just take a nice big dollop of yellow and we'll get that lovely tertiary color. So this is our secondary color here. We've got the blue and the yellow are our primary colors. And then we've got that green that we made is our secondary color. Then we've got a nice green, yellow green, which is our tertiary color there. I'm just going to wipe my brush and do the same over here. I'm going to take some of that green, put it over here. I've only got a little bit left, so I've managed to get black on my brush as well, just on my hands. And then I'm going to the tiniest little dip of blue. Remember how dominant that blue was? You just need the tiniest little bit, and look how much that's changed that green already. All right. Oh gosh, I like that color. That's a beautiful color. So we've got a lovely sort of dark aqua blue-green happening here. Look how delicious that color is. Yum. So that's your tertiary color then. So we've got our yellow and blue as our primary color. Then we've got our green that we've mixed. In between, that could potentially be a little bit darker. And then we've got our tertiary colors, the third step away from the two, to make that lovely yellow green and a beautiful sort of dark aqua blue there. So now that we have all those, what you can also do is lighten or darken any of these anywhere along the way. So let me just clean my brush and my hands. I'm a shocker. I always get lots of paint all over myself. That's why I have paint clothes, so that my wardrobe doesn't end up with paint all over it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to create some tints, or also known as pastels, by adding white. So any of these colors, we can add white to. So I think I'm going to go with the greens. And I'll start with this one here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of white, and I'm just going to, sorry, I've got away from the camera. I'm just going to blend that in. So you can see we've got a lovely pastel happening here, which is a nice soft color. And all I've done is add the tiniest little dip of white in there. Okay, so we've got a lovely pastel happening there. And of course, the more white you add, the more pastel-y you'll get in that same shade. So you can do as many sort of steps of, getting lighter and lighter as you want, using a little bit of white, a little bit more white, all of that, Oh, hello, Brenda. Good to see you here. Oh, no, she's going to watch the replay. Hi, Leah. Good to have you here as well. Got all our paint clubbers showing up today. Nice to see you all. So that's how we create pastels, and you can literally just keep going. The more white you add, the lighter you get, and you can do that for essentially all the colors. All right, so all of these shades that we've got here, we can add white in and create a lovely pastel shade. Depending how much you want to add, you can just add that lovely white and get a nice pastel shade. And again, we can just keep going, getting lighter and lighter, small steps or big steps, but you can create all those lovely shades of any of the colors. You can do it any of the colors. Let's do it to this. I like this one here. There isn't much of it, but I'm going to create a nice pastel of this one. Look at that. Yum. There's not a whole lot there. I didn't mix enough, but I could always mix a bit more, but that's a lovely soft pastel as well. And again, you can do it in small increments, just changing the color slightly each time, or you can do it with a bit more white like I did in this one, for example, and change it quite significantly, quite quickly. So that's how we do the pastels. And you can do it for all of the colors. Obviously, whatever color you mix, you can turn it into a pastel. And oh, we've got two Leahs here. Hi, Leah. Two Leahs. It's a Leah fest. Yay. Welcome, Leahs. So we've gone lighter. So that's how to make tints and pastels of any color. You can obviously do it for your primary colors as well. You know, if you want to mix a lighter version or a tint of your blue, you can do a little bit of white, and then we can do another one with a little bit more white, and we can just get lighter and lighter as we go. You know, adding a little bit more white each time. This is great for skies if you want skies with different you know, different shades and tints. You can just keep adding white and get loads and loads of tints of your sky colors or sea colors or whatever you're doing in blue. You just keep adding white and you can get as many tints as you want right through the whole spectrum. So that's all you do to lighten your colors there and get the different tints. And we can go in the opposite direction as well. So let me just clean my brush. So you can do that with any of them, and we can go in the opposite direction as well. I think I'll do it with purple this time. No, with what am I going to use? I'm going to do it with the red, but you can do it with any color. All right. So this time I'm going to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to get a little bit of red, and this time we're going to use black. Okay. And again, keeping in mind that the darker the color is compared to the one you're mixing it with, the less you will need. Okay. So if we're going to go for a darker red, I've got, can you see that? The tiniest amount of black on my brush compared to how much red is there. We mix that in and the red goes a bit darker. All right. So we've got to get a little bit more. So we've got a darker red happening here. Okay. Maybe just because we're on camera, it doesn't show up as much. I'll use a little bit more. And you can see that that red is a little bit darker now. And same again, you know, if I take some of it over here, put a bit more black in, we can go a little bit darker again. And we can just keep going darker and darker. Same as we did with the going lighter, you can do the same going darker. And for all of these colors, all of them you can darken, but just keep in mind that black is the most dominant color, so you do not want to use too much. All right. Now you can, you know, depending on what color you start with, will influence what color you end up with. Okay, so wherever you are on your spectrum of mixed colors, will influence what you end up with. And of course, there is also the option of using warm colors and cool colors. I'm using cool colors today: cool yellow, cool red, and cool blue. But there's also a warm yellow, a warm red, and a warm blue. So depending on what color you're starting with will determine what color you end up with. All right. Now, as far as warm and cool colors are concerned, let me just show you. Put my brush down. So we have the cool yellow and the cool, the warm yellow, for example. You can see they're quite different colors. I mean, they're both yellow, but they're quite different colors. So that obviously I've been using this one today, but if I use this yellow, I would get a different shade of green than using this one. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about the difference between warm and cool colors, I have actually done a blog on that. If you type in color theory into the comments, I will send you the link to that. It's on my heartforart.co.nz webpage. If you go look for the blog there, search for theory of color, or just put color theory in the comments and I will send you the link, and that explains the difference between cool and warm colors and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Now, all your colors, like I said, will mix slightly differently. If you're using, for example, if you're going to use the cool yellow and black, you may not get the shade that you want, so you can try using warm yellow and black to lighten and darken your colors. But you can also, if you have a look over here, you'll see that this color here with the blue in it, sorry, I'll go a bit closer. Whoops, just put my finger in the red. You'll see that these two colors here are very, very similar. All right, so I use the black and the red there, but I use the blue and the red, or the purple and the red there. So you can also darken colors using the primary colors that's darker around it, or you can lighten the colors using other colors as well. I mean, that's getting quite in depth, and I want to keep it a little bit simple today. So I won't go into that right now. We'll just keep it simple with lightning with black and white for now. You know, when you paint a little bit more, you will learn more of how that all works using other colors to darken and lighten colors. But just for the sake of keeping it simple today, I won't go into that. Jan says, please send me the link. Yes, I will do. As soon as I'm done, Jan, I'll send that to you. But essentially the best way to learn is just to experiment. Fill a palette, put a few little dots of paint on and just fill a palette and have some fun. Paint some rainbows. And you know, after a while you do learn what works and what doesn't work, what colors go well together, and it's just, you know, a bit of practice. But do keep in mind, you know, when you're learning, that you can't learn all the colors at once. There's so many colors. All right, let me show you. Look, a color wheel is another really good way to learn color mixing. These are so awesome. You just turn the colors and it tells you which ones to mix. I've done a blog on this as well. Type wheel in the comments if you want me to send you the link to that one. But just keep in mind, when you're learning, it's hard to just learn all the colors all at once. I mean, as you can see, we've just mixed a few basics and there's loads of colors already. Okay, so you can't learn all the colors all at once if you're just starting. You know, there's a lot. And especially since what I've shown you today, I just mixed two colors together and we've got some beautiful colors. And, you know, but like I said, there's no way, there's just no way you can't learn them all at once. But with some colors you need to mix, you need 3 or 4 colors. All right, we've just done some basic ones, the main, primary and secondary and tertiary ones, but some colors you need 4 colors to mix that color that you're looking for, or 3 colors or something. So imagine how many more color options there are to learn. There's just so many different color options to learn, and yet the possibilities are endless. I mean, look at all the different shades that we've created today just by mixing 2 colors together. So imagine if you then took this green and mixed another color, and you'd get a whole nother spectrum of colors in there, which is so exciting, because essentially any color under the rainbow and all the colors in between you could learn to mix. But yes, don't try and do them all at once, because that would just be overwhelming. But it's exciting that the possibilities of all the colors are there for us. But don't overwhelm yourself. Just start with the basics. You know, this is the kind of thing that I teach in Paint Club for that reason, and I do it a few colors at a time so that you don't get overwhelmed. You know, every new painting I teach in Paint Club, I just show you how to mix the colors for that painting, so that you learn a few new colors every time you paint, and you're learning as you're going, and it just makes it a lot easier to just little bite-sized bits of information rather than trying to learn all the colors all at once. All right, so if you're watching this and you want more help with color mixing and you're not already in Paint Club, you want some help to learn some new colors, you know, with lots of paintings to get practice with, Paint Club is the best place for you to be. All right, so if you want some help with color mixing, type Paint Club in the comments and I'll give you the link to go and check that out. All right, and of course in Paint Club you'll get tons of my personal guidance and support as well. You get me as your personal art coach, and you'll be able to connect with that awesome community that's there as well. So yeah, it's an awesome, best place to learn. So, but today we learned a bit of color mixing. we had some fun. I'm just going to put my brush in the water. We had some fun just creating a little rainbow of colors here. And I only used 3 colors to mix all of those colors, and a little bit of black and a little bit of white. So that was all very cool. And we learned about the 3 primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. And that those 3 primary colors cannot be made up of anything else. They are pure colors, so you can't mix red, you can't mix yellow. They exist all by themselves. And we learned about secondary colors when we mix 2 primary colors together and we get that secondary color in the middle. So that's our orange, our green, and our purple mixed between those. And then we learned about our tertiary colors as well, where you mix a primary color with a secondary color. All right, so that's our yellow orange here, or our red orange. So yeah, primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. And I showed you that it's really key because of the dominance of colors. The darker the color it is, it's really key that when you're mixing your colors, always start with the lightest color and then add little dips at a time of the darker color. And that way you can really have a bit more control over your color and not let it get too dark too quickly, in which case you'll need 20 times more of the lighter color to take it back. So really key to just do little dips of color at a time when you're mixing. And I also showed you how to lighten each color, turn them into pastels or tints. So you can see with the green there, we did just, you can, the more white you add, the lighter the color gets. All right. And we did with the blue. Gosh, I've gone all over the place with my palette today, haven't I? The blue, the more white you add, the lighter it gets. And you can do that with any of these colors to create a myriad of different lighter pastels and colors. And then we did the same in reverse. I just did it with the one color, but you can do it with all of them just by adding a bit of black. You can darken each color as well. So you can get some beautiful rich dark blues with adding a little bit of black. We did talk about how you can use other colors to darken and lighten, but for today I've just kept it nice and simple for you. We're just using the white and the blacks. Essentially the best way to learn is just to have a go. And I'm always telling all my students, practice, practice, practice. The more you practice, the more you learn. And I mean, I've been painting my whole life. And it just, a lot of it now, I just know. It's like when you're first learning to drive a car, you get in the car and you think, goodness me, what do all the buttons and knobs and things do? And there's a gear stick that I have to change and I've got to push pedals and stuff. And it feels all very weird. But then, slowly you learn what all the bits do. And now I jump in a car and I don't even think about it. I just know it all on instinct. And for me, that the same is now true for painting, because I've been painting my whole life. It just comes naturally to me, and that will happen for you as well. And it doesn't take very long. It really does not take very long. Once you've done it a few times, it just, after a while, I mean, how long did it take you to get comfortable driving a car? You do it a few times and you just know it. So that's why it's so important to just keep practicing and keep painting, and eventually it will just come naturally to you. All right. So thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful. Let me know which bit you found the most useful, or just let me know what's your favorite color, and let me know, does anyone else do this? You finished painting, you got paint all over your hands. So yes, I hope that's been helpful. Now that now that you've seen the main colors and how quickly I was able to mix that many different colors, go and have a practice. Go and have a practice of just the main colors, mixing your primary colors together, seeing what they turn out like, mixing different combinations of them together, seeing all the different shades you can create. Just go and have a practice. And if you want more help learning about color mixing, make sure to check out my online painting membership. Just type Paint Club in the comments and I will give you the link so you can go and see if it's a right fit for you. All right. And if you want help getting the right art supplies, if you still need to get set up with your art supplies, just type supplies in the comments and I will hook you up with my recommended list of must-haves. All right, it's going to make shopping for your supplies so much easier. Oh, Jan, thank you so much. I'm glad I was able to join in this live. I'm glad you were too, Jan. Lovely to have you here. I hope it helped. So yes, have fun painting, have fun mixing color, color, color. Yay. And however you paint or choose to learn, just remember that it should be fun. It should always be fun. And if you don't, if you don't learn things straight away, if you don't mix the sort of color you want straight away, that's okay. Just keep trying. All right. Keep trying and you will eventually get there. All right. And I know that's why our paint club is, they love all the paintings that they can learn with in Paint Club, and that there's a brand new one every month. I teach a brand new painting every month in Paint Club. So there's always more color learning to do and more learning of all painting things to do. And they're creating beautiful paintings in the process while they're learning all the colors and mixing and stuff. Honestly, Paint Club is the most fun way to learn, and you end up with beautiful paintings as well. So, and you learn all your color mixing on the way as well. So thank you for watching today. Let me know which is your favorite color. And don't forget to like and share this and follow and subscribe wherever you're watching. If you want to look up any of those blogs or anything, heartforart.co.nz, everything is on my website. You'll find it all there. And if you're watching on YouTube, I have included the link to Paint Club in the post there as well. So I hope to see you in Paint Club. But even if you don't come and join us, hope you have the most fun mixing colors, because there's something just super relaxing and fun about creating colors. Like you make the color. It's like you create a brand new color. How cool is that? And I hope it makes you happy. So yes, share this with anyone else who might find it useful. And if you want to hear more tips on how to learn new painting skills and how to live your most creative, happy life, make sure to check back in, follow and subscribe, and I'll be sharing more stuff soon. Meantime, have a lovely day, and I hope to see you behind a paintbrush again soon. Bye.